Stuttgart, Arkansas, in the Bio Meadow watershed, Terry Dabbs owns a 1,500-acre row crop operation that implements corn, rice, and soybeans. Dabbs is a fourth-generation farmer. The Arkansas Department of Agriculture recently recognized Dabbs' farm for being a century farm, which means that his farm has been in his family for 100 years. A few years ago, Dabbs traveled to Wisconsin, where he learned about the Discovery Farm program. After returning to Arkansas, Dabbs and a group of farmers met with the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture and Farm Bureau about starting a Discovery Farm program in Arkansas. Dabbs, other farmers, and agricultural researchers are aware that many people blame farmers for nutrient overload in streams, lakes, and ponds, which can enhance the growth of algae and weeds. The Discovery Farm projects are collecting data to show the public that farmers are concerned about conservation and are using best management practices to retain nutrients on their field. Discovery Farm projects are set up on privately owned farms where the U of A can conduct research and demonstrations regarding the environmental impact of agricultural production. Dabbs explains why he was interested in having a Discovery Farm project on his property.
When we started this program, one of the main reasons to start it was that every time something happened, they were trying to blame farmers for it. And that was one of the reasons to start Discovery Farm, so we could have some good data to take and use when we were getting blamed for things, because I don't believe we were doing some of the things we were getting accused of.
Dabbs' farm is located in Arkansas County, which is considered to have critical groundwater conditions because the water table is dropping. The closest groundwater Dabbs has access to is 900 feet deep. Because of this, Dabbs relies entirely on surface water to irrigate his crops. He captures all runoff water in tailwater recovery ditches and stores it in his 350-acre reservoir until he uses it to irrigate his crops. In fact, Dabbs does not allow any water to leave his farm.
We have no wells on the farm. We totally depend on surface water. We have a 350-acre storage reservoir that we capture and hold all of our water in. We have tailwater ditches on the farm and ditches around the perimeter of the farm that we capture all of our water and return it to our reservoir. The farm has been completely precision leveled. We have one zero-grade field, and all the other fields are just put to a grade, so makes our irrigation where everything will furrow irrigate down the row. In our furrow irrigation, we're using a faucet program, which is a program developed by the University of Arkansas to help in the distribution of water through the polypipe to get the right size holes punched for the flow and the amount of fall you have in the field. And this is our first year to do that, but it has been working really well. We use grid sampling, variable rate fertilizer, N-Star program, anything that comes out new, we're willing to try it and try to be on the cutting edge of conservation practices and best management practices.
Fields on Dabbs' farm have been leveled to precision grades to make irrigation easier and more efficient. Dabbs uses polypipe to irrigate his crops. Polypipe is a flexible hose that is laid across one end of the field with holes for every row of crop. Once the water is turned on, the polypipe expands and water exits through the holes and flows between the crop rows, allowing water to irrigate the plants. Flow meters are set up at specific intervals across the fields to regulate the amount of water that is used to irrigate the crops. Surge valves are set up to allow farmers to water different parts of the field that need it more. This allows farmers to conserve water by reducing how much water drains off the field. Mike Daniels, professor of environmental management for the U of A Division of Agriculture and co-chair for the Arkansas Discovery Farms, works closely with the farmers on developing best management practices for their farms. He further explains the Discovery Farm program and practices Dabbs is using on his farm.
We are monitoring both the inflow of water, the amount, the quality, and also the outflow of water from the edge of the field in terms of runoff, tailwater from irrigation, and we look at that quality in terms of nutrients and sediment. We are trying to monitor and help farmers understand better about how much water they're using and what the impact of that water use is, irrigation, rainfall, and really to look at how much water is coming off these fields and how much nutrient and sediment are coming with it. This is why he's invested in conservation practices like tailwater recovery and trying to improve his irrigation water efficiency on these crops.
To collect sound research for the Discovery Farm projects, there are 6 miniature research stations set up across Dabbs Farm. The flumes monitor and capture the water that runs off the field so that Discovery Farm field technicians can collect the samples. After the samples are collected, the Discovery Farm personnel take the samples to a water quality lab where they look for nitrogen, phosphorus, and total suspended solids that run off the fields and are held in the tailwater recovery ditches. There is also a collection station set up where water enters and leaves the reservoir, so researchers can see which nutrients are entering and leaving the reservoir. Daniels further explains the technology that is being used to collect the samples on the farm.
We use state-of-the-art automated water quality sampling equipment. We can program it to measure the amount of water going through a flow structure like a weir or a flume, or in many cases in eastern Arkansas, fields drain through a pipe, and we can instrument those pipes and calculate how much water is losing from the field. And we can also program our samplers then to take so many samples during that water loss that we can take back to the lab and analyze. And then we can go back and look at that, compare it to what we've applied, and see how efficient we're being. And what we're finding is that the losses are much lower than we anticipated on many of these Discovery Farms.
With the collection of sound baseline data underway, Dabbs and many others are eagerly waiting to see the final results. Dabbs and the Discovery Farm team expect the data to show that low amounts of nutrients are running off Dabbs' field because of the best management practices being used on his farm. For more information on Arkansas Discovery Farms, visit discoveryfarms.uark.edu.